All right, so this is going to be the documentation for Kiara. And like I said before, I'm not a vet, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm none of these things. I'm just a dude trying to do the best he can for the creature he loves. So, with that being said, we're going to dive into the process of everything that we went through, of what they found, what they did, yada, yada, yada. And this is just the surgical stuff and the findings, and we're going to see if we can't get a better result with the next ultrasound that I schedule for next week. So, here we go. All right, so here you can see that this is what was done on November 7th. They took x rays, they did an ultrasound, and the assessments that they found were a 2.4 centimeter diameter solid mixed echogenic mass in the left colloidal liver, 1.2 centimeter diameter mixed with echogenic nodule in the mid colloidal liver, RO neoplasia, malignant carcinoma, lymphoma, neuroendocrine tumor versus Bennigan hyperplasia, thin straight object in the pylorus that extends into the proximal duodenum and through the wall of the duodenum. Small amount of free gas in the abdomen next to the proximal duodenum. RO radiology. Perforation of the very proximal duodenum, likely secondary to a foreign object, perforated gastric ulcer. So they saw the perforation in her duodenal, but what they originally thought was maybe it was something that punched through it. So this is when we found the concern for the liver masses. 2.4 centimeter diameter solid mixed echogenic mass in the left colloidal liver, 1.2 centimeter diameter echogenic nodule in the mid colloidal liver, and in the left of the hilus. Belobed gallbladder, every very thin object in the pylorus that extends into the proximal duodenum and through the wall of the duodenum. And all that is what we just went over. And the diagnosis, what they figured was the liver neoplasia, rule out carcinoma, lymphoma, and neuroendocrine tumor, stomach duodenum perforation, the very proximal duodenum, likely secondary to a foreign object. So, and they also said an ulcer cannot be ruled out, but it's not an ulcer. Next, they decided to run some tests. And when they found these red levels are elevated and these blue levels are low, are very low levels. But the blue ones are not very concerning. They're not too far away from the lowest value you want to see, but the red ones are above the levels you want to see, and some of them are grossly high. So I don't know what ALK FOS is, but it was 153 when the usual is about 65. So what we're hoping to see after we do more tests and get another ultrasound is see these levels start to come back down or go back up to get to their normal range. They also ran other tests to see if there's anything else that's going on with her. And I forget which one this was, but I think this was for her liver, which they found a very elevated, not very, but it is elevated, neutrophilus. It came in at 12,098 microliters when the normal number is around 9,500. So it's about 3,000 more than normal. And the lowest value is about 1,900. So she's elevated there. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but again, once we get more tests next week with the ultrasound, we're going to check and compare and see if these levels have gone down so we can know for sure if we are actually getting somewhere or if we're not helping at all or if it's kind of stagnated and stayed the same. Next, this is the clinical history notes of what they found after she was transferred to the more emergency style vet because after they found the masses and the duodenal stuff, they wanted her to go straight to surgery. So then they decided to run some platelet tests, and here she was doing quite well. Her results were just above the lowest value than what we want to see, but whatever TS is was just under the lowest value that we want to see. But it's not necessarily a bad thing if it's a little low or if it's a little elevated. The bad things are if it's extremely high or extremely low. That's when it causes concern. And then they did the actual tests at the emergency vet, where they took everything into account. They wanted to get measurements on everything. This is where we found some issues. Some of them are not concerning. Others are very concerning. But you can see here when it came to the phos levels, it came down a little bit. Still high, but it came down a little bit. And the ALT levels were very high. Her protein globulins, was that albumin? They were all low. Phosphorus and calcium was also low, and her glucose was high. So we're going to check these numbers when we take her in again next week and see if we can fix that. So all the previous stuff that you saw, this was all October 7th. So you can see that right there, October 7th, and then October 7th, and then October 8th for these tests when we took her in to the other vet. So we ran some more platelet tests, and this is when she dropped down to 19, which is low, but they said it's not too concerning. They just want to make sure it doesn't get any lower. So they ran one test one day and then did another test the next day. So on October 8th, they did this test, which got them a 19%. And then October 9th, they did it again, and they got another 19%. So she's stable at 19, and as long as it didn't go down, that's what they were really concerned with. Again, we're going to get these tests done again and see if we can't get those levels back up to where they're supposed to be. And then we're going to compare papers from the past to papers from the present. Now this is the big one. This is everything they found when it came to the liver masses and what they could have, what they might have. And it contains all of the different types of cancer that it could have been. It contains all the different sizes of the tumors, where they were, how many tumors there were, how far did it spread, all that good stuff. Not really good, but all that stuff. And the information in here is way over my head. So many big words, so many Latin words. I cannot keep up. So if you want to pause it here and read through it yourself, do the research yourself on what these words might actually mean, go for it. All I know is that it goes over the masses that were removed, the two big tumors and the mass in the duodenal, and it is being checked for all of these things. And what they found was carcinogens. But right here is the masses that they found in the previous diagnostic. Up here is what they found in the livers, or not in the livers, in the samples. So you can see right here, interpretation A, B, liver, both samples. The first one, multifocal carcinoma. And then in the second one, moderate perability and perpetual bridging fibrosis with moderate to marked biliary hyperplasia, ductular reaction. And number 3, moderate chronic neurophilic and lymphomastic cholangitis with a mild hepatic excision. And number 4, marked diffuse hepatic lipidosis. And number 5, mild to moderate lobar atrophy, proximal duodenum, perforation and fibrinospirative, transmural inflammation and cirrhosis, mild lymphatic and neurophilic enteritis with moderate crypt hyperplasia. And the case comment is all those big words that just put together in one big sentence makes absolutely no sense to me. But Yes, that is what they found. This is the this is where they found it and the shape of what it looked like and what was contained within it. And then this is throughout the rest of the liver, the micro mixed and macrovascular lipid type vacuolations. So what they're talking about is how it metastasized throughout the rest of the liver. So if you want to pause it right here, go for it. Read up on that. Take down notes that you want to look up. But that is what she's dealing with. And this is the results of these samples. Left lateral liver lobe, 2 samples, round firm mass encompassing east part of the liver at that size, and sample encompassing the liver lobe is that size, and duodenal at the area of proliferation. Included in the duodenal samples are less than 1 centimeter large. And that is pretty much it for all of the stuff that they found and tested to date today, November 12th. And that is everything. 14th of October is when that was discovered. And this is the day that they sent it to me, October 12th, today. Or November 12th. So that is everything that she is dealing with. And I hope this helps anybody who knows what it is they're reading when it comes to that kind of stuff. But that being said, everything that I am doing is working with the vet and working on my own. So what they give me, I will work with. And if that doesn't seem to work out, if they can't bend the rules a little bit to help me, then I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands. And it's not their fault. They have their practice. They have their ethics. They have their rules. They got to abide by them. So I get it. But I'm not going to sit idly by if there's more that I can do and it's in my immediate control to do. I will be doing it to try to save her. And that's where we're at for now. I can post a video of her playing so you can see just how well she is doing later. But until then, this is what we've got.